Number 5, one cone has a base radius of 4 centimeters and a height of 6 centimeters. So I'll draw a picture of this. I'm going to call this cone A. And in cone A, we have, we know that this length right here is 6, and we know that this length right here is 4. And it says that another cone, so we'll call this cone B, has a base radius of 6 and a height of 4. So this time it's going to be wider and shorter. So this time the base radius here is 6 and the height is 4. And it's asking if the two cones will have the same slant height. So our slant height is this S right here. And I want to know if these slant heights are going to be the same. And if I take a look right here, in order to find the slant height, I have to use Pythagorean theorem. Okay? So for cone A, if I were to do Pythagorean theorem, it would be 6 squared plus 4 squared equals S squared. And for B, if I were to use Pythagorean theorem, it would be 4 squared plus 6 squared equals S squared. So no matter what, the S is going to be the same because 6 squared plus 4 squared is the same thing as 4 squared plus 6 squared. So therefore, the cones do have the same slant height. Because when using Pythagorean theorem, um, 6 and 4 would be legs for both cones, and the legs are interchangeable. Now, when we say that the legs are interchangeable, remember the A and the B are allowed to be switched. So it doesn't matter if I put the 6 first in or if I put the 4 first in, I will get the same answer. Now, if you don't believe me, let's actually go ahead and solve it because that's going to be useful in the future anyways. So 6 squared is 36. 4 squared is 16 equals S squared. So when I add these together, I get 52 equals S squared. I'm going to square root 52. And I get 7.211, so that means that S is 7.211. Now let's do the same thing right here. So this would be 16 plus 36 equals S squared. Well, we end up getting 52 equals S squared, which means that S is equal to approximately 7.211. Okay, so now that we figured out what S is approximately for both of these guys, part B says, do the cones have the same surface area? If not, predict which cone has the greater surface area and explain your reasoning. Well, if the formula for the surface area of a cone is pi rs plus pi r squared, if you notice, both cones have the same slant height, but cone A has a radius of 4, while cone B has a radius of 6, which means that the radii that we're going to plug in here are going to give us larger values. So I can predict that cone B will have a larger surface area because it has a larger radius and the same slant height. So a larger radius, we'll say a larger radius than cone A's radius, but the same slant height. Okay, now I want to know if my prediction was correct. So determine the surface area of each cone to check your prediction. So here for cone A, surface area equals pi times rs plus pi times r squared. Well, in cone A, the radius is 4 and the slant height is 7.211 plus pi times 4 squared. So this ends up being, let's take 7.211, multiply that by 4. We get 28.844 pi plus 4 squared is 16 pi, okay, because 4 squared is 16. Now I'm going to add 16 to that, and I get 44.844 pi, which is approximately, I'm going to multiply this by pi, and I'll get approximately 141, the unit is centimeters, so 141 square centimeters. Okay, now let's do the same thing for cone B. So the surface area, again, is pi rs plus pi r squared, but this time our radius is going to be 6, but our slant height is still going to be 7.211. So it's pi times 6 times 7.211 plus pi times 6 squared. Okay, but here 6 squared is going to be 36, so we can say this is 36 pi. And then here we can multiply 6 times 7.211, and we get 43.266. So here we end up getting equals, sorry about that, I'll get rid of that I. Again, we end up getting 43.266 pi plus 36 pi. So when I add 36 pi to that, let's try this again, 43.266 plus 36, I end up getting 79.266 pi. And then when I figure out what that is, when I multiply it by pi, I get approximately 249. So this here would be approximately 249 centimeters squared. So was your prediction correct? Yes, it was. Okay. And that's it for question number 5.